Yeah, yeah. And I burned that channel. Sinister grifters with a snake oil grin. Voracious virtue signalers cashing in. False PIs, they're fixing the game. Pointing fingers, but they're all the same. Innocent creators, moms with a cause. Digging through the chaos, exposing the flaws. We're hunting for clues, untwisting the lies. Who's driving this shit show straight to demise? Convertibles roaring, cliffs in sight. Like Thelma and Louise on a forever ride. They sail into YouTube fame, the crash is in sight. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels into dust. Oh, it'll burn their channels into dust. Dust.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing really well. You know what I'm doing? I am just peeking in to say hello because I dropped off the face of the earth, and I know I did, and I'm very sorry about that. So, hello, Sketty Nona, Joan. Welcome. It's good to see you. Show Poodles, how are you? Sweet tea, wonderful. Zelda. I want to see it, Zelda. How crazy is Lori? 15 last names. How crazy is she? I want to know. Hi, Lisa Faulkner. I am okay. I'm great. So thank you for asking. But I'm okay. Marie says, great to see you. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. So I've got like 15 minutes. That's all I've got. And I just keep putting off because I don't have time to come in here and do long form like I always do. And so, I was like, I've just got to say hello because now I'm starting to get emails. People are going, are you okay? Did something happen? Nothing happened. I am working terrible hours. I'm working so many hours, and that's what you do. You got to do it, right? Hey, Kristen, good to see you. Yeah. So I have 15 minutes. That's about it. So working lots of hours, and it was unplanned, but sometimes things happen, and then when they step in and say, will you please help us until we can figure out how to fill in the gap. And so I've basically been working for two people. So, but I'm happy to do it, and I love my job. So I'm not unhappy or miserable. I'm great, but I am very unhappy about not being here. So I wanted to check in and say, hey, One Way Street, good to see you. Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay, so there is actually a lot of stuff that's going on. I think Lori Vallow is absurd. All right. I want to ask you guys. So late in the middle of the night, when I was trying to fall asleep, I turned on Hidden True Crime. And that's how I found out about Lori and her illness. She refused to get out of her wheelchair, which is she refused to get out of her wheelchair again. I'm sick. All right. It was so dumb. And so I'm curious, anything happening today? Skitty, Nona, anything happening today with Lori? Did she come to court? Is she in a wheelchair? What did the judge do? I'm just curious. Do we know yet? I'm going to use the word tissue and wheelchair in my video play on words. Wonderful, Zelda. That's good. I look forward to it. I'll share it on the channel when you get it up. Okay. So do we know? I was laughing just reading about Lori. Sketty Nona, it's so the woman is a walking personality disorder. She has them all. Okay. She just has them all. She's a wreck. And I will tell you guys, so Kay Woodcock, she posted she put up a post saying, laying bets on whether Lori shows up today. Does she come to court? Does she show up in a wheelchair? Does she refuse to come to court? I don't remember what all the choices were. I said, she is going to come to court, and she might actually be on a stretcher with an IV bag. She may have an attending surgeon walking beside her. And here's the reason that I say this. Because of her personality problems, okay? Because of her personality problems, there's just simply no way that she can be well today. She can be well because now she's in a power struggle with the judge, correct? So the oppositional part of her, it just will not allow that to happen. Now, the question that a lot of people stay in is, is she trying to delay her trial? Like, she's the one that asked for a speedy trial. She has been sort of maneuvering, trying to interfere with the Brandon Boudreaux trial. She tried to use that as a tool. Number one, I think she's terrified to face Brandon Boudreaux. He is the only victim of hers that she has to face. None of the others are around, and therefore she can be delusional and not be confronted with reality. In this trial, it won't be like that. He's there. He was there yesterday when she came in sick. He was sitting right behind her. So I think that is scaring her. I think that what she ended up doing with the whole Charles Vallow trial, I think she realized, being an attorney is hard, right? It's not as easy as it looked. And so now she's got to figure out, she's saying to herself, her personality disorders are saying to her, I can't ask to no longer be the attorney, because that's letting people see that I fail or I have weakness. I have to invent a scenario where I am removed, and then she can be indignant that she's been removed, right? She can say, it wasn't my fault. The judge forced me out. That's what she's working for. That's what all this is for. She is not working to delay her trial. Although I will say this, if a new attorney is assigned and she's removed, it could very well be delayed at that point. But I don't think that is the ground game. I don't think that's the original intent for her illness. The original intent is, I don't want to have to face Brandon Boudreaux or the people that love him. I don't want to pretend to be an attorney, because I did that in the Charles Vallow trial and I looked stupid. She knew that she looked stupid. It turned out to be much more difficult than anything that she thought it would be. And she found out she's not quite as smart as she thinks she is. And so she's trying to figure out how to get away from this, once again, another mess that she's gotten herself into. And so she wants to be removed as the attorney. She wants the judge to take control and say, listen here, sister, you're out on your ass. We are not going to delay this trial. And just like if there was any other attorney that became sick and they could not come to court, I would remove that attorney and put another attorney on. And you're no different. You're just an attorney in this case. You are out. That's what she's working towards. She even mentioned it, didn't she, in the recording? She says, if my assistant attorney, if they do the voir dire for the jury, does that mean I'm going to be removed for the rest of the trial? If you heard her say that, put a 1. Who heard her say that in the recording? I can go over to Twitter and pull it up if you didn't hear it. Okay, so people heard it, and it's all over Twitter. You can go to Nate Eaton or Justin Loom and put in, the recording of Lori in the courtroom yesterday, and you will hear her say, he's going to say, we can let your assistant attorneys that are advising you, we can let them do the voir dire because you're sick today. And she says, well, does that mean I'm going to be removed from the whole case? And he says, no. And then she says, oh, well, let me talk to them. And then she comes back and says, no, I want to do it. She wants off the case, period. She wants off. Okay. So I think that is what the end game is. And I think probably when she showed up today, she was dying, is what I think. Really sick. Okay. So that will be very interesting to watch and see how it all unfolds today. She also said last time she had to wait. She almost threw up, and she didn't want to do that in front of the jurors in television. What the heck does she mean by that? Thank you, Zelda. And does she know that the court is on a delay? It's like on a 15-minute delay, a 30-minute delay. So even if she does throw up, nobody would ever know unless she opens her big mouth. So this is life with people that have severe personality disorders. And I'm going to tell you this too. Personality disorder is pretty common. Many of us have things behaviors that are kind of counterproductive or maybe a little self-destructive, and we just don't seem to be able to learn to quit doing them. And they get us into a little bit of trouble, right? My mild types of personality disorders. Severe personality disorders, that's a whole different ball game. All right. That's the big leagues. And people that have severe personality disorders, they become stalkers. They become the people online that band together to destroy another person and laugh and have fun doing it. People with severe personality disorders, they're pathological. They're mentally ill. Lots of people have personality issues, or they may even satisfy a diagnosis as a disorder, but it's still relatively mild. It's not something. People with severe personality disorders, they end up in jail, right? Prison. Ted Bundy, personality disorder. I mean, we can go through the list and name them. They're all over the place. Kohberger, Brian Kohberger, absolutely. He's got an ASPD diagnosis. I don't doubt that a bit. Antisocial personality disorder. He may have even caught a schizoaffective disorder, or perhaps schizotypal, So personality disorders per se are relatively common, and they're not enough that we may run into trouble every now and then because of it, but we don't end up with like serious, massive, horrific problems in life. Lori Vallow's level of personality disorder, bad, real bad. So she is in now of her own making. She is in a power struggle with the judge. And the reality is he has the power, not her. In no way will she win this. She's in a power struggle, so she simply cannot be well. Like, she can't do that. Oh, thank you, judge, for giving me time off yesterday. I feel so much better. That ain't never going to happen. You're never going to see that from Lori Vallow. Okay. So that So she won't be well today. She may be, oh, I have questions for the jury. Like she'll really play it up, right? But I think the end goal is, again, a direct relation to the personality problems. She's not going to be able to face Boudreaux. Just like you saw her try to face Kay Woodcock. Excuse me. How long was Kay on the stand before Lori said, no further question? What was it, 3 minutes? You know what I mean? She was terrified. She got up there, her hand was shaking when she was trying to turn the paper, her hand was shaking. 3 minutes for Kay to put her down. What about the lady that Charles Vallow had the date with the night before he died? You saw the same thing. She couldn't even talk to the lady. She just came off sounding like a jealous little high school cheerleader. You know what I mean? So Lori has not the backbone, the strength, the identity, the frame, the theory of mind to stand firmly on her own 2 feet and confront an issue that is difficult. She turns her back on it, she runs away, and she gets someone else to fight her fights. Brandon Boudreaux is not dead. That is one of her victims, not dead. Even with Colby, Lori couldn't face him. Even with Colby, it was like, oh, you've betrayed me, Colby. You bought into all the lies, Colby. You know me. You know me. Remember that crap? To Melanie, remember? So, no, she has no ability to deal with something difficult face on. And the fact that this victim is not dead and just an illusion. This victim has got a heart beating and in the courtroom, and that is something she can't. She not that she won't, she can't. She cannot do it. Just like, look at what happened with Kay Woodcock. All right. Don't flatter yourself, Epic. Who is Epic? Hey, Kathy R. Good to see you. I don't see anyone named Epic. Hi, Holly. Good to see you. DB. No, the judge is not impressed with Goddess Lori, for sure. It's so funny. Every time I think about that. Hi, Neuro V. Brian, yep, they forgot the P in the ASD, in my opinion. Yeah, antisocial personality disorder. Her acting skills will serve her, so she thinks, oh no, she can't do this. Yeah, Kay was epic. By spine, right? Hey, Jackie T, Tam, good to see you. It's so good to see everybody. The date Charles went on, she told Lori not to flatter herself, right? Yep. Oh, I see what you're saying. Don't flatter yourself. That was an epic moment. Absolutely. Another epic moment. So I am waiting to see what Lori does today. Does she show up? Is she well, or is she even more ill than yesterday? So I'm looking for that information. I have gone down the Chantal Foodie Beauty rabbit hole, right? Now, I always sort of checked in with Chantal. I'm not like a loyal watch, like I'm not a fan. I don't watch it from start to finish or anything like that. The reason that I got interested in this YouTube personality, Foodie Beauty, she's one of these big eaters, mukbang, like she's like 500-600 pounds, right? The reason that I got interested in her story, she met a man online. This is the craziest story. If you don't know this story, you've got to look it up. This is nutso. Okay. So she's 600 pounds, and she's got 100K plus subscribers on YouTube, and that's the only way she makes her money. And she met a Middle Eastern guy from Syria. He's Syrian, but he lives in Kuwait. He's like an immigrant, or not an immigrant. He's on an asylum visa in Kuwait. And so she meets him online, and then she goes over there and marries him after only knowing him a couple of months, I think. I don't even know if it was even a full month. She went from doing OnlyFans for feeders, and she shaved her hair on a live, and she gets naked as a 600-pound person in front of the camera. I mean, she's this very large, outrageous personality, right? I'm talking about her. She's got a large personality, outrageous personality. And so she goes to this Middle Eastern country that is under Sharia law. So Kuwait does follow Sharia law, right? She goes over there, she puts on a hijab. She's living as Muslima. It's the craziest story that you can even, like, I can't even tell you the whole thing because I got to get off the computer. But anyway, so they actually, I guess it was like maybe a week ago, 7 days ago, maybe, they broke a Kuwaiti law on fundraising. They went to this seaside park where there's some feral cats, and she got this little kitten, and so she was going to take this kitten, I guess, and adopt it, take care of it. Anyway, while she's getting the cat was still nursing. The mother cat was still there. And so she's like, "Oh, I'll take the kitty." And she's got the little cat, and she starts asking for donations. And they're in Kuwait. And it is 100% illegal. Illegal. It is also against Sharia law. It's not haram, but I can't remember the name of it. Ara? I can't remember. I don't remember. But so she's asking for money to take care of this kitten, right? And Kuwait has criminal laws as well as Sharia law, but they have criminal law that against fundraising for animals. That if there is an animal in need, that you have to go through like a government licensed organization. And those organizations are very, very, it's like a career to be a part of that organization. That's your job. You work directly with veterinarians to provide care for the wild animals. And it's completely wrong to like adopt them. They want to keep them in their natural family structure state as much as they can. So this was a big criminal problem, what she did. Anyway, this organization called Pause Chicago is where it originated. It got involved in this. It was a big story how they got involved. But anyway, they got involved in it, and they said, "Well, we're going to bring civil cases. We're going to bring civil charges against you because you stole." They named the cat Bruce because you stole this little kitten. I mean, it was terrible that it's still nursing, and it's from its home, and you got money for it, right? And so they had this back and forth, and she's like, "Yeah, bitches, do your worst." Like, she was really audacious and like kind of obscene in the way she was speaking. Her words, the way she addressed this very, really honorable government licensed organization for animal rescue and care, the way she addressed them was haram. It was against the laws of God. So originally taking the cat and taking the donations, that was not haram. But the way she spoke to Paz was absolutely haram. And again, she's living as Muslima. She's presenting, she's not fully veiled. Okay. She's her face shows, but she's always got her hijab on, and often she'll be in all black when she's gone a little bit too far and thinks she's in trouble. Anyway, so to make a long story short, the civil courts, when they got the paperwork from Paz, they were bringing a civil case against Foodie Beauty and her husband, Salah. That was rejected. And they said, this is bigger than the lower courts, the civil court. We're going to escalate this up to our high court, which is criminal, and the Sharia court is connected to it. Now then, the reason I'm covering my mouth and shaking my head and horrified is this. Several months ago, and I don't remember exactly how long ago it was, Foodie Beauty in full Muslima gear, sitting in the fart box in Kuwait. That's what they call their apartment, the fart box. Sitting there, full Muslima gear. She goes on which YouTube channel? Say it, everybody. Lol Cows Live. Yes. So she goes up on Lol Cows Live, and I'm sitting. I lived in Egypt for 10 years, right? I'm watching this debacle with the hijab and her always talking about Islam, and I'm thinking she is dangerously close to getting not only herself, but her Syrian boyfriend in deep trouble. And she just kept on going. And you can hear him sometimes pleading with her, please, please stop, turn the camera off. And she just keeps going, just going. Anyway, she went up on Lol Cows Live, where they proceeded to say, oh, look, we got pictures sent to us of your anatomy from OnlyFans. Well, I'm telling y'all, we don't have enough time for this. OnlyFans pictures where she was talking to underage boys, showing all that in a bag of chips. You know what I mean? So as the cat debacle unfolded, and then that rolled into donations, and then I thought they're going up to the higher court, which is going to include oversight by Sharia. And she's living as Muslima in Kuwait, and her husband is supposedly, he's not her husband. They can't get married. She's on a visa, a tourist visa, but they have a fraudulent marriage certificate. They paid a judge off for a fake marriage certificate. The number of laws this chick has broken, you can't even. We don't have time. We do not have time. But she has nudes. She is on a YouTube channel for men. Okay. For men with Sharia law, it is haram. It's against the laws of God to show yourself from your belly button down to your knees. That's for men. Okay, well, guess what's between your belly button and your knees? And Salah, those photos are out. Yeah. He got catfished. He got naked. He took a photograph of himself and sent it to the catfish, who then spread it all over YouTube and Twitter. She has the same photos between her belly button and her knees from this OnlyFans account that she had. And the problem is she's not going to be able to say, well, that was before when I was in Canada, before I became a revert, before I became Muslima. That's not going to work because she was on Lolcows Live and they put the pictures up and the men on the panel were all looking at the pictures and she made jokes. She gave them, she in full Muslima garb, they say, well, like, I've got the picture. Can I look at it? And she says, yes. She gives permission as a Muslima, and she is sitting in her apartment in Kuwait. Now then, I knew Sharia. I knew the criminal courts. I knew this was going to blow up. I knew it. I knew as soon as the issue turned into the money problem. And I thought, oh, if they come back with the money thing and they decide it's criminal, then they're going to have a true problem. If you take it out of that civil court, you're in deep trouble. I'm talking about in an actual Islamic nation. And Kuwait is part of the Gulf states. It's definitely an Islamic nation. And so sure enough, it did get moved up. And when it got moved up, it got rejected by the civil courts. It got moved up to the higher courts. And she's live when this information comes out. She's live and she's being all sassy and talking crap and acting ugly. Salah, the fake boyfriend, comes into the chat and he's like, shut up, turn the live off, shut up. And she's like, no, you're not going to tell me to be quiet. I was born in a country that values freedom and I'm a woman and I'm going to say what I want to say. And I was like, okay, you're going to prison forever. Ever. No one's going to care what you have to say. You're sitting there dressed as Muslima. You're claiming that you follow. They took video of her praying in a mosque. They took photographs inside government buildings. You know what they did? They took a video of the Kuwaiti oil fields, even the storage tank area. Horrible situation. So that's the last that we see of Chantal, is her in front of their camera being all sassy. You know what she says? Do your worst. What? So of course, there's like 200 reaction channels for Chantal, right? It's like 200 reaction channels. Every one of them, they save all of her videos. Like she'll try to delete something, but 50 people have already saved it to their hard drive. So so she goes dark. She's been missing since. Nobody's seen hide nor hair of her. Gone. I think all that happened on Friday, if I remember, which makes it worse, right? Because that's day of prayer, like much worse. And the court got it. The lower court rejected it on Monday, and by Monday evening, she had an actual court case with the higher court. So done. I mean, done. It's done. So now here's the big thing. People are like, okay, was she smart enough to get out of Kuwait? Number one. Like, if you're sitting there on Friday and all of this happens, are you wise enough to head straight for the airport and get on an airplane anywhere? Anywhere, right? That's number one. Or maybe if they didn't have the money, because they're very poor, they don't have any money. Maybe they went to the Canadian embassy for safety because she is a Canadian citizen, right? Or is she dumb enough to just be sitting there in her apartment trying to hide? And after everything you've just heard, listen to this. Her fraudulent husband, the one where they bought a corrupt judge to give him a fake marriage certificate. He is actually a Syrian refugee. He is a Syrian refugee. His family, his dad and sisters are there in Kuwait. They will all have to answer for what these two jokers have done. So nobody knows where they are. And now today, people in Kuwait, people that know them, are saying that they are camping in the desert. This woman weighs 600 pounds, people. Camping in the Kuwaiti desert. Do you know how hot it is there? 130 degrees is like easy. It's the craziest story. How many of you guys in here have heard about Chantal Foodie Beauty, just in general? Like, if you've heard of her, like, you know who she is, put a 1. I'm just curious because, like I said, the only reason that I came to know of her, I would see she would like be recommended sometimes, and I would not watch her. I had no interest in I don't watch the mukbang stuff. I think it's really unhealthy and horrible. But the reason I got interested is because I lived in Egypt for a very long time, and she married this man, this Syrian, and moved to Kuwait. And I was thinking, I bet you anything he's involved, like in like getting money for the liberation fighters, aka terrorism, if you want to use another word for that. It seemed like it all fit, right? I mean, she has a platform, she's got a lot of followers. As soon as she went over there, she started like talking about the Muslim faith and how evil the West is. I mean, it looked so much like propaganda, apostasy, right? So she's all over X. Yes, Gigi. I mean, this thing has blown up. It's crazy. So, I can almost guarantee you she's been disappeared. By her family, you think? Or, Kuwait so if we look at the Gulf Arab states, right? Egypt is very liberal. Like Egypt is there's separation of church and state, not church, but religion and government in Egypt. They have a Supreme Court that is governed by domestic law. There is a Sharia court, but by and large, their power is restricted to mosque. So Egypt is very liberal, and they're much more open to the idea of expats maybe making a mistake and getting into legal trouble, and they don't like international entanglements. They're careful, right? They try to keep the religion away from the actual government goings on. That's why it was such a scandalous thing when Mohamed Morsi was inserted as president after Hosni Mubarak, because Mohamed Morsi is like one of the Muslim Brotherhood royalty. It was like number 3 or 4 in the power hierarchy of the Muslim Brotherhood. So for him to have been put in charge of Egypt was scandalous. Like, the people of Egypt were horrified. And the thing that actually brought him down and got him removed, he had the blessing of Barack Obama and other leaders around the world. But the thing that brought him down was when he ordered that the Egyptian Supreme Court would be dismantled so that Sharia law would take over, the Egyptians poured out into the streets. The Egyptians poured out in the streets and said, not no, but hell no. We're not going backwards living like that. Absolutely not. And they began to really push hard for their army to help the people. And basically El-Sisi, the top general in the Egyptian military, he stepped in and arrested Mohammed Morsi and all of his people, and they're in prison today, and their families are in prison. So Egypt is very liberal, and you're less likely as an expat to find yourself in an unrecoverable position. The Gulf Arab states, by comparison, are not that way. The Gulf Arab states are very wealthy, extremely wealthy, and they're very far right in terms of religious conservatism and that kind of thing. Sharia is still the law of the land, and there are also domestic laws, but they're intertwined. They rule side by side, right? So I guess perhaps you might think of it like there's Sharia law, 5 classes of Sharia law, 3 are very prominent. The domestic laws have been born of those 5 classes of Sharia law. So it's, you can't pull them apart. Foodie Beauty and Salah's dad are in deep trouble. There's so many broken laws. It's not even funny. For me, though, my opinion is those laws that are considered haram. So haram is under Sharia law, there are 5 categories or 5 classes of legal rulings. There are 3 really primary. One is fard, which is an obligatory, like you're obligated to do these certain behaviors and such. Like if you are a Muslim, as Chantal says that she is and has been living as, but she's not acting like it. Then fard, or an obligatory act, would be that you must perform your 5 daily prayers. And if you do not do your 5 daily prayers, then you've broken the law of fard, right? And you could be sanctioned. You could be in trouble for that. You can also if fasting during Ramadan, which she did not do. She was gorging during Ramadan. Fasting during Ramadan, paying your zakat, which is basically paying tithing to the church. That's a parallel. And that is a class of Sharia law. That it's an obligatory act. As a Muslim, you must do these things. So this isn't really something that an expat could really get in trouble for, though certainly someone who lives there and is born into the Islamic faith, they could get in a lot of trouble for not doing those things. In fact, in Saudi Arabia, they will whip you into church or mosque. The morality police ride around that. They're wearing robes, but they have long canes, and they ride around in the back of these little pickup trucks. And during the 5 times of prayer, if they see somebody walking down the street and they're not in mosque and they don't have a reason to be out, then they get whipped and they run to the mosque to do their prayers. Okay, so it's obligatory. Haram, no, it's forbidden. Haram is an act against God. It is the most sinful, the most punishable that you can do. As long as you are avoiding anything that is considered haram, then you are said to be earning reward for heaven. Okay. What is considered haram? Well, obviously, taking the Lord's name in vain, that would definitely be haram. Drinking alcohol, smoking bango, right? Chantal, you've been hitting the bango pipe a little bit? Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay. I also think she probably brought in some edibles too from Canada, judging by the looks of her eyes and, her behavior changing. I think she's got some over there. Anyway, so drinking alcohol, weed, gambling, all of these would be things that would be considered haram. But for men, it is haram to show your naked body between your belly button and your knees. You're going to have a problem, Salah, because there's photographs and there's dates on those photographs and you got a problem. So they also have the same problem with Chantal, although hers might be more defendable, that because she's an expat, I think, it's my opinion, I think that when this all comes to a head, they find them and whatnot. I don't think Kuwait wants an international problem. You know what I mean? I think they're just going to be like, okay, look, this chick has been over here on a tourist visa. And yes, all these laws have been broken, starting with the fraudulent marriage, her driving around with no driver's license, working when she's there without an actual license to be able to work. I think for them, they're going to look at this and they're just going to say, we don't want this heat. We don't want to deal with this. Put this woman on an airplane back to wherever she came from. And let's forget she was ever here. And we can actually hold Salah easier. We have more evidence and foundation for keeping Salah because he is born into the Islamic faith. His father, his whole family are actually practicing Muslims. He's in her videos while she is acting in a way that is considered haram. He doesn't try to stop her. He doesn't try to control her. In fact, in some ways, he's kind of been involved in it, right? So I think the way it's all going to turn out, I think all they're going to want from Chantal, they're going to want her gone, never to return. She'll be barred from re-entering Kuwait forever and ever. And I think Salah, he's in it. There's going to be real ramifications for him from the Sharia council, from Sharia law. And my worst fear is that his father and sister, who dislike Chantal terribly, they don't want him with her. My fear is that they will end up being sent back to, Syria, which is a real shame. So they will deport her in less than 3 seconds. He will be punished. See, Joan is right there. That's exactly what I was saying, Joan. Yep, exactly. So no, they don't want to deal with a Canadian citizen. The things that look, y'all, the things that she has done, she could end up getting a life sentence. Really, the cumulative total. But man, I'm telling you, once you start breaking those obscenity laws, oh my God, they're not playing. And I think that the government will look at her, the fact that she's very visual. She got 100,000 subscribers. I think they're just going to say, let's be done with this. Like, don't waste time on her. We've got Salah. We're going to make an example out of Salah. Salah is the heart of the problem, right? Salah is the one who illegally encouraged her to come to our country. He paid off a judge to have a fraudulent marriage so that he could extort her for money. They've been fundraising together. It's all going to go back on Salah. If you guys agree with me, put a 1. What do y'all think of that? Do you think I'm right about this? Oh my God, Zelda. There's no mukbanging in the desert, girl. You've never known misery till you've spent a night in the desert. It is very beautiful. But one of my favorite things to do on the weekend was to go out, just drive out in the desert, right? Off-road in the wild desert. One time we found some, petrified wood. Like there's these petrified trees laying out just in the middle of the desert. But we found this piece of petrified wood. It was huge. Well, you can't see it. About that long, about that wide. But inside, like where the rugged edges of the wood, what striations were, inside of it, there's an emerald. And that emerald is sitting just held perfectly in between these slats of wood. So beautiful. And so we picked that up. We took that home. It was on our front porch. We got a light and had it shining on it. It was beautiful. Anyway, yeah, the desert's gorgeous. It's beautiful, but man, at night it's windy. The sand stings you. Like, think about sandblasting. It's miserable, truly. So I'm just not. The only way that I can see that they would actually be like camping in the desert, hiding, would be if they just were stupid and didn't expect that it would come to this. And then when they got to the airport, they couldn't get on a plane. That's about the only way that I could see, right? The hope is, I can say this. So his father is a very well-educated man, has a great job. He works in the education system. So he is a well-educated guy. He is a good Muslim. My hope would be that he would have said to both Salah and Foodie, you guys get on an airplane and go to Thailand or any non-Muslim area, right? Just get out, go to the United States, just go anywhere, and then we'll figure this out, right? But you can't even stay this weekend. In essence, let me say this. They legit had probably 48 to 9, maybe 36 to 48 hours to get out of the country before it got remanded up to the high court. And, Foodie Beauty has not shown wisdom in maybe ever. So maybe she's not so wise to think, wow, did we really get ourselves into big trouble? But Salah knows. Absolutely. No question about it. Salah would know how much trouble they were in. And for certain, his dad. So there's people that are saying, oh no, they're hiding out in the apartment. I'll bet you $1 to a donut. There is no way they're in that apartment. No way. No way. If she was foolish enough to stay or she didn't have enough money to buy a ticket, then she might be at the embassy with the attorneys trying to talk to the country to come to an agreement to let her leave. They'll escort her out if that's the case. So that might be happening. I will say this, if she's on a tourist visa, you have to have a return flight, right? So if you go into one of these nations on a tourist visa, you can't go in with a one-way ticket. They want to see that if you need to leave, you have a ticket that's already purchased to get out. So, but she's so big, there's no way she can sit in a single airplane seat. So at the very least, she would probably need $900 to buy the second seat. It's a mess, people. It's outrageous. So I wanted to tell you guys about it in case you wanted to look it up, because it's incredible, and trust me, it's going to be a big YouTube story, just because it's Foodie Beauty. She's just who she is, right? So I do see a few people in here that do know who Foodie Beauty is. Let's see. 121 in the Anza Barriga Desert east of San Diego. It rained a few weeks. The cactus were blooming. Beautiful flowers. Took a few pictures until a rattlesnake scared you. Yeah. Private plane. I don't know. You think where did they get the money, Joan? They don't have anything. They have. And Joan, do you remember, what was that dude's name? Something Anime Sucks. Remember, or maybe it was Anime. I don't remember. But there was this dude that stepped up. He started coming into her chat for a while, and I mean, he was dropping like $100 super chats. And man, it was just like she was just like a 15-year-old girl in love, being flirted with the first time. I mean, she's blushing and smiling, and he's just loading the money, up. And I thought myself at that time, is she getting set up? Like, is this guy, you know who the guy was? So I did do a deep dive looking into him, trying to pinpoint who it was. He was part of the group that ended up bringing down Rekieta Law. So maybe he's got the goods too. He may have like some naughty photographs and things like that. So they are in deep, guys. And Chantal is a very, very, very well-known YouTuber, and she's on the run. So I wanted to let you guys know. Hey, Sassy T, Jackie, good to see you. KJ Mack, how are you? It's good to see you. I don't, but I know people will cash out her the money to get her out of there. That much, though? I mean, like a private jet just from Egypt over to Greece was like $35,000. So I don't know. That's a lot of money to put together fast, But the truth is, Joan, we just don't know where she's at. They've disappeared. And she is foolish for sure. And she does not understand what she's dealing with Sharia law or the Sharia Council. She doesn't know, but Salah knows full well, as does his dad. So stay tuned. All right. Someone should post Refrigerator Perry song about his butt so wide, his car lies to the side. Got a big butt, big buck too. You have a great sense of humor, Zelda. You're a funny girl. All right. I love how you look at all the cases that are interesting and not being heavily covered. Yeah, I know there's a lot of like, people are chasing the money, the views, right? That's they want to take time to get up here and talk or do research and present it. They want to be paid for it, and I get that. There's no shame in that. I like the weird stuff, whether people are enjoying it or they know about it or not, doesn't matter. I like the stuff that kind of, you don't really know what is really happening. And damn, this thing with Chantal is crazy. So just Google Foodie Beauty and you'll see. Now there's a guy that has a channel. It's called Gorlic Bread, GORLIC Bread. So Gorlic Bread, that's one of the guys I watch his channel every day. Any video he puts up, I watch it faithfully. And the reason is this. He doesn't show a lot of clips of Chantal. He just sort of gives you a factual synopsis of what she's doing, what her latest live is about, that kind of thing. That way I don't have to watch her. Watching her makes me feel bad, like gives me a bad feeling, right? So listening to him, I just keep up, and I'm really interested in this relationship between her and Salah. And I feel like she has been scammed. I feel like she's gotten herself into a dangerous situation with Salah, right? I'm talking about before all this legal stuff. So that I'm gonna leave that alone. So garlic bread is a good one that you don't have to watch all the gross mukbang yucky stuff or sad stuff, but you still kind of get an update on what's happening. And he's on the case, like he is on the case. I also watch YouTube Underground. I think it's the YouTube Underground. She's just hilarious, right? She's just a funny lady. She's got a funny sense of humor, and she's rough. There's a lot of cussing. There's a lot of what we would think of inappropriate talk. But she does show clips, and she's been covering this lady a long time, so she knows all the history. But she does long form content, so it's hours, long. But garlic bread, he's the guy to get caught up on where all this is. But there's tons of hater channels, 100 people or more. Oh, the other one I like is Gold. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Charlie Gold. She doesn't do much until now that this scandal she's back, right? She was very active. Now she's back. But Charlie Gold does a good job of giving synopses. She uses clips that are shorter. I'm trying to direct you towards channels that you're not going to have to like sit through watching Chantal, because it is kind of sad and demoralizing. She's a tragic figure for sure. It's a sad, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. But the story is really interesting about this expat Canadian living in Kuwait with a Syrian refugee, where they've committed fraud with marriage. She's presenting as a Muslima. It's a crazy story. All right. There you go. I work third listening always. Well, I'm glad you were here, Gigi. It's good to see you. All right, Charlie, thank you, Yvette. Yeah, Yvette's putting up all the links for garlic bread and Charlie Gold are two channels that short discussions about what's happening, and that is good. And then YouTube Underground, she does long form, and she is hilarious, but woo, she is rough. Okay, just giving you fair warning, she's rough. All right, so yeah, it is. Today's sort of just a collection smorgasbord of a little bit of everything, isn't it? All right. I do have to go. I think I got to go. Let me check. Yep, I got to get ready. I got something I got to meet with at 1:30. So, all right. Well, I wanted to check in. Everything is okay. I'm fine. And I'm going to be back, and we got to do our second and third intersect with the Christopher Proudfoot debacle. And so when I've actually got time and can do it properly, then I will. And I'm waiting to hear what Lori Vallow did today. So remember what I said. I think all her personality disorders are at work trying to, number one, get her removed as counsel. And number two, she's just in a power struggle with the judge, and she can't admit that she's wrong. That's it in a nutshell. Thank you guys so much for coming in and saying hello. Hey, June. I appreciate it so much. And y'all have a great day. Hit the thumbs up, please, on the way out. And I'm going to play. Lori dreamed of a throne in a heavenly glow, a queen in the light where the
pure ones go. But shadows whispered in her fragile mind, cut the ties, leave the weak behind. Her children laughed, her husband smiled. She saw their love, but her heart was wild. Oh, Lori, Lori, what have you done? Chasing a crown, you've lost everyone. A queen of ashes, a throne of lies. Now you're alone with your hollow cries. She spoke of angels, of battles unseen, a prophet's voice in a twisted dream. Her children, her burdens, they couldn't stay. She called them zombies, sent them away. Her husband too, with a trusting heart. She tore their world, ripped it apart. Oh, Lori, Lori, what have you done? Chasing a crown, you've lost everyone. A queen of ashes, a throne of lies. Now you're alone with your hollow cries. She danced with darkness, a manipulative game. Thought she'd rise in glory, but she fell in shame. The graves were shallow, the truth came clear. Her children's laughter she'll never hear. Handcuffs cold, the courtroom still. A mother's love turned to a killer's will. Now she sits in a cell, four walls of stone. A life for a life, she's forever alone. Memories haunt her, a life once bright. Her daughters giggle, her sons delight. She wanted a kingdom, a celestial reign, but all she found was eternal pain.